The Executive Audit Compass, where practice meets the standards. GIAS 2024, explained. 5 domains, 15 principles, and what conformance really requires. On the 9th of January 2025, the transition period ended. The global internal audit standards stopped being the framework you were preparing for and became the framework you are measured against. So, here is the question every chief audit executive should be able to answer today. If an external assessor walked in tomorrow, could you show them, not tell them, show them that your function conforms? Over the next few minutes, we will walk through the architecture of GIAS 2024, the 5 domains, the 15 principles, what conformance actually requires, and the gaps external assessors keep finding. This is Module 2 territory from the Internal Audit Professional Series, Navigating the Standards in Daily Practice. Start with what changed. The 2017 International Professional Practices Framework was a collection of separate pieces: a mission, a definition, a code of ethics, core principles, and 2 series of standards, attribute and performance. GIAS 2024 replaced all of that with a single, integrated framework. One document, one structure, released on the 9th of January 2024, effective for conformance 1 year later. And the shift runs deeper than packaging. The old framework told you what to have. The new one is principles-based. It tells you what to achieve, and it expects you to demonstrate with evidence that you achieved it. Hold on to that word, evidence. It will come back. The architecture has 3 working levels. 5 domains at the top, 15 principles beneath them, 52 standards under the principles. And every standard is built from 3 parts. The requirements, which are mandatory and written in the language of must. Considerations for implementation, which guide how, and examples of evidence of conformance, which show what proof can look like. Read the verbs carefully. Must is mandatory non-conformance, with a must is reportable. Should, inside the considerations, is strong guidance, but conformance is judged on the requirement itself. One more layer sits alongside the standards, the topical requirements. These are separate, mandatory instructions. The IIA issues for specific subjects. Cybersecurity was the first. When the topic is in your audit scope, the topical requirement applies. It is not optional reading. Now, the 5 domains, and here, precision matters, because this numbering is the language your function will be assessed in. Domain 1 is the purpose of internal auditing. It carries no numbered principles. It is a single integrated statement. Internal auditing strengthens the organization's ability to create, protect, and sustain value by providing the board and management with independent, risk-based, and objective assurance, advice, insight, and foresight. The old mission and definition now live here. In one sentence, you should be able to say from memory. Domain 2, Ethics and Professionalism, holds the first 5 principles, the ones that belong to every individual auditor. Principle 1, demonstrate integrity. Principle 2, maintain objectivity. Principle 3, demonstrate competency. Principle 4, exercise due professional care. Principle 5, maintain confidentiality. This domain replaced the old code of ethics, and it added teeth honesty and professional courage. In Standard 1.1, safeguarding objectivity in 2.2, continuing professional development in 3.2, professional skepticism in 4.3. Domain 3, governing the internal audit function, is the board-facing domain Principles 6, 7, and 8. Authorized by the board, positioned independently, overseen by the board. This is where your mandate and your charter live, in Standards 6.1 and 6.2. It is where organizational independence lives, in 7.1, and it is where the board's own obligations live. Direct interaction with the chief audit executive, sufficient resources, and oversight of quality. Domain 4, managing the internal audit function, belongs to the chief audit executive principles 9 through 12. Plan strategically. Manage resources, communicate effectively, enhance quality. The risk-based audit plan sits here. So does the Quality Assurance and Improvement Program, under Principle 12. And Domain 5, Performing internal audit services principles. 13, 14, and 15. Plan engagements effectively. Conduct engagement work. Communicate engagement results and monitor action plans. This is the engagement lifecycle, from work program to follow-up, and it is where conformance is proven or lost at the file level. First, evidence. If it is not documented, you cannot prove it, and in an external assessment, a claim without evidence is treated as a gap. Board minutes approving the charter. Signed independence declarations. Records of continuing professional development. Work programs with supervisory sign-off. Work papers that trace cleanly to the findings in your reports. Build the file as you work, not the month before the assessor arrives. Second, honest self-assessment. Rate your function the way an assessor would. Conforms, partially conforms, does not conform. Work principle by principle. Gather the evidence first, then judge. Document the gaps precisely: a policy gap, an execution gap, or a documentation gap. Each calls for a different fix. And turn every gap into an action with a single owner and a date. Third, the quality program itself. Principle 12 requires internal assessment as an ongoing discipline and an external quality assessment at least once every 5 years, performed by a qualified, independent assessor. Here is the part many functions miss. You may only state that your function conforms with the standards when a current external assessment supports that claim. No current assessment, no conformance statement, that is not a technicality. It is the credibility of every report you sign. Where do functions fall short? After 3 decades in this profession, the same gaps keep surfacing. A charter that has not been reviewed in years or was never formally approved by the board, only discussed. Independence treated as implicit. No annual declarations, no documented handling of conflicts. A quality program on paper, with no external assessment inside the 5-year window. Audit plans copied forward from last year, instead of rebuilt from a current risk assessment. Work papers that do not support the findings they sit behind. Reports issued without management action plans. And findings that are never followed up, although Standard 15.2 makes monitoring a requirement, not a courtesy. Notice something about that list. Not one of those failures comes from a hard technical question. They come from discipline calendars, checklists, and documentation habits. Which means every one of them is preventable. One last skill, navigation. When a standards question lands on your desk, resist the urge to search by keyword. Follow the structure. Ask which domain the question belongs to, then which principle. Then read the standard requirements first, in the language of must, and only then the considerations for implementation. Take a live example. The audit committee chair asks whether your charter needs updating. That is a governing question, domain 3. Authorization Principle 6, Standard 6.2, the Internal Audit Charter. The requirement: the Chief Audit Executive periodically reviews the charter and brings changes to the board for approval. Your organization restructured last quarter? Then the review is due now, and the discipline strong functions adopt is a standing annual review, whether or not anything changed. Here is the takeaway. GIAS 2024 is one framework, 5 domains, 15 principles, 52 standards, mandatory requirements written as must, evidence as the currency of conformance, a quality program with a 5-year external clock, and a list of common failures that is boringly predictable and therefore preventable. Module 2 of the Internal Audit Professional Series goes deeper than one video can. The full conformance checklist across all 15 principles, the self-assessment methodology, the evidence matrix with retention periods, and decision trees for the questions that come up every week. The link is in the description. And if you want the standards one at a time, 60 seconds a day, that is exactly what this channel does. Subscribe and take one standard a day, in English and Arabic.